Let me take you back to 1999, a time of dial-up internet, the impending doom of Y2K, and the last breaths of the 20th century. The air was thick with anticipation, a sense of both excitement and uncertainty about what the new millennium would bring. Remember those days, the fashion, the music, the overall vibe? The world was bracing for Y2K, computers were expected to crash, society was on the brink of collapse, or so we thought. It was a technological turning point, a moment where we collectively held our breath, wondering if the digital world would survive. But amidst all the digital anxiety, hip-hop was on fire. It was a cultural force, a vibrant expression of life, struggle, and triumph. The energy was palpable, the beats were infectious, and the rhymes were sharp and insightful. The culture had exploded from the streets to the mainstream, dominating radio waves, music charts, and influencing fashion trends. Hip-hop was no longer a subculture, it was a dominant force in the entertainment industry. We'd seen East Coast-West Coast drama, the rivalry that had captivated and sometimes divided the nation, a clash of styles, personalities, and ideologies that played out on wax and in the streets. Lost legends like Biggie and Pac, whose untimely deaths left a void in the hip-hop community, their music and legacies continuing to inspire and influence generations of artists. They were taken too soon, but their impact remains timeless. And now, a new energy was rising, a fresh wave of artists eager to make their mark and push the boundaries of the genre. The game was changing and new voices were emerging from unexpected places. The South was making noise, a distinct sound, a unique style, and a whole lot of swagger. The Dirty South was no longer just a region, it was a movement. Loud, unapologetic, and impossible to ignore. Southern hip-hop was demanding attention, challenging the established order and rewriting the rules of the game. Shiny suits and big-budget videos ruled MTV, a visual spectacle of wealth, glamour, and excess. It was the era of bling, where image was everything and the bigger the budget the better. But something raw was brewing in New Orleans, a gritty, authentic sound that was rooted in the streets and infused with the city's unique culture. No Limit and Cash Money Records weren't just labels, they were cultural hubs, incubators of talent and symbols of Southern pride. They were building empires from the ground up, defying expectations and creating their own lane. They were movements, a collective of artists, producers, and entrepreneurs who were united by a shared vision and a relentless drive to succeed. Their sound, their slang, their bounce, thanks to Manny Fresh, was infectious. It was a high-energy, bass-heavy sound that made you want to move, a soundtrack to the streets and the clubs. It was party music, street music, the kind of music that brought people together, transcended boundaries, and celebrated life in all its complexities. And all about shining for your city, representing your roots, your neighborhood, and your people with pride and passion. It was about putting New Orleans on the map and showing the world what they had to offer. MTV News watched as Cash Money's influence grew from local to national, their artists dominating the charts and their videos saturating the airwaves. The world was taking notice of the Southern invasion. Suddenly, a teenager was stepping into the spotlight, a young prodigy with a unique voice and an undeniable charisma. He was about to become the face of a new generation. He'd been part of a group, but now he was going solo, ready to prove himself as a standalone artist and carve his own path in the industry. Squeaky-voiced, relentless, and wise beyond his years, a lyrical force to be reckoned with, spitting rhymes with a maturity that belied his age. He was the youngest in the crew but hungry like a veteran, eager to learn, eager to prove himself, and eager to take his place among the greats. The world was about to meet Lil Wayne, a name that would soon become synonymous with innovation, creativity, and unparalleled success. The stage was set, the block was getting ready to get hot. The anticipation was building, the energy was palpable, and the world was waiting to see what he would do. No one could have predicted just how big this kid would become. A global icon, a cultural phenomenon, and one of the most influential artists of his generation. The South was ready to take over, to claim its rightful place at the top of the hip-hop hierarchy and redefine the sound of popular music. Cash Money was leading the charge, blazing a trail for other Southern artists and proving that anything was possible with hard work, dedication, and a whole lot of talent. And Lil Wayne was about to change everything, to shatter expectations, break down barriers, and usher in a new era of hip-hop. This was more than music, it was a cultural shift, a transformation of the landscape, a redefinition of the rules, and a celebration of Southern identity. The energy was electric, The industry was watching, eager to see what this young phenom would do next. The stakes were high, but the potential was even greater. The streets were listening, and Lil Wayne was ready to unleash his talent, his creativity, and his unique perspective on the world. The countdown to his solo debut had begun. The anticipation was building, the excitement was palpable, and the world was holding its breath. The anticipation was real. The block was about to get hot, and hip-hop would never be the same. Before the world knew him as Lil Wayne, a name synonymous with hip-hop royalty, a young boy named Dwayne Carter Jr. was quietly honing his craft. This is the story of that boy, a story etched in the streets of New Orleans, a testament to resilience and an unwavering passion for music. He was Dwayne Carter Jr. from Hollygrove, New Orleans, a neighborhood that shaped his perspective and fueled his ambition. Hollygrove wasn't just a place, it was a crucible where dreams were forged and tested. It was the backdrop against which a legend would rise. His story was about survival and raw talent, a potent combination that would propel him to unimaginable heights. It's a narrative of overcoming adversity, channeling hardship into art, and transforming struggle into triumph. While other kids played carefree games, lost in the innocence of childhood, he was writing rhymes. Music was his escape, his sanctuary, his voice. He poured his heart and soul onto the page, crafting verses that reflected his reality and hinted at his boundless potential. At 11, fueled by an unshakable belief in his talent, he left freestyles on Birdman's answering machine, a bold move that would change the course of his life forever. It was a gamble, a shot in the dark, but it was a testament to his unwavering determination. Birdman heard the hunger, the raw potential, and the undeniable spark, and took him under his wing, recognizing the star that was waiting to be unleashed. He saw in Wayne a reflection of his own ambition and a kindred spirit in the pursuit of greatness. Wayne wasn't just signed, he was put to work, immersed in the world of music, honing his skills, and learning the ropes from the best in the game. He was thrown into the deep end, but he was ready to swim. He started with the B.G. quote, Z, learning the ropes as a preteen, absorbing the energy and dynamics of a group, and finding his own voice within the collective. It was a trial by fire, but it forged him into a stronger, more confident artist. The pressure was real, the stakes were high, but Wayne thrived, exceeding expectations and proving that age was just a number. He embraced the challenge, using it as fuel to push himself further and faster. He soaked up everything, every lesson, every technique, preparing for greatness, knowing that his time would come. He was a sponge, absorbing knowledge and experience, building the foundation for his future success. Then came the Hot Boys Wayne, BG, Juvenile, and Turk, a quartet of talent that would set the hip-hop world on fire. 4 unique styles, 4 distinct personalities, one unstoppable group, a force to be reckoned with. Their album Guerrilla Warfare was everywhere, dominating the charts and solidifying their place in hip-hop history. It was a cultural phenomenon, a soundtrack to a generation. Wayne, the youngest, was already a lyrical spark plug, igniting every track with his infectious energy and undeniable talent. He was the engine that drove the group, the spark that set them apart. He held his own with older rappers, proving that age was no barrier to skill and that he was a force to be reckoned with, regardless of experience. Proving he was destined for more, destined for the spotlight, destined to become a legend. The question wasn't if he'd go solo, it was when, a question that lingered in the air, a certainty that hung heavy with anticipation. The industry was watching, eager to see what this young prodigy would do next, recognizing the potential for a global superstar. The fans were waiting, their excitement building, their expectations soaring, ready to embrace the next chapter of his musical journey. Wayne was ready to step out on his own, to unleash his full potential, to claim his place among the greats. The stage was set for his solo debut, the lights were ready to shine, the world was holding its breath. The world was about to see what he could do, to witness the birth of a solo superstar, to experience the full force of his talent. The journey from prodigy to star was just beginning, a journey that would be filled with challenges, triumphs, and unforgettable music. Lil Wayne was ready to claim his spot, to ascend to the throne, to reign supreme in the world of hip-hop. To understand Wayne's debut, you have to understand Cash Money Records. In the late 90s, Cash Money was an independent powerhouse from New Orleans. Founded by Birdman and Slim, they built an empire with a formula that worked. Relentless output, a distinct sound, and a larger-than-life image. Bling, cars, and designer clothes weren't just accessories, they were the brand. Their Universal Records deal took their sound global. They didn't chase the mainstream, they made the mainstream come to them. Manny Fresh was the engine, crafting a signature sound that defined the label. His chemistry with Wayne was special from the start. When it was time for Wayne's solo project, the machine was ready. The infrastructure, the sound, the brand, it was all in place. But this wasn't just another Cash Money release. This was the debut of the artist they groomed since childhood. The pressure was on, but so was the confidence. Cash Money knew they had a superstar. Wayne was next in line for greatness. The world was watching. The moment had arrived. In 1999, while the Hot Boys were blowing up, Lil Wayne was in the studio, laser-focused. At just 17, he was crafting his debut album. Manny Fresh produced the entire project, giving it a unified signature sound. Wayne was a studio rat, always writing, always recording. The sessions were fast-paced, energetic, and full of brotherhood. The other Hot Boys contributed, but this was Wayne's moment. The album sounded confident and bold, not like a rookie effort. Wayne was already experimenting with flows, pushing boundaries. From start to finish, the album told a story. It was a snapshot of a young artist with veteran poise. The block was about to get very hot. Wayne was ready for the spotlight. The debut was set to make history. The first thing you noticed about Lil Wayne was his voice, high-pitched, energetic, unforgettable. It cut through every beat, making him instantly recognizable. His flow was relentless, twisting words in ways no one expected. He wasn't just rapping on the beat, he was playing with it, dancing around it. At 17, he wasn't rapping about teenage problems. He painted vivid pictures of street life, loyalty, and hustle. His maturity and perspective were startling for someone so young. Wayne's authenticity set him apart. He wasn't trying to fit in, he was creating his own lane. On, you hear him finding his voice and realizing his power. He was a singular talent, not just another hot boy. The industry took notice. Fans leaned in to listen. Wayne's unique sound was a breath of fresh air. It was the arrival of a future legend. The world was listening. November 2nd, 1999, a date etched in hip-hop history. The anticipation had been building for months, fueled by underground buzz and whispers of a young prodigy ready to explode onto the scene. Lil Wayne's "The Block Is Hot" dropped. The cover said it all, a bold statement of intent, a visual representation of the raw energy and ambition contained within. Wayne, serious, almost defiant, in front of a luxury car, a symbol of the aspirations and the potential riches that Cash Money Records represented. The Cash Money family stood proudly behind him, a united front ready to conquer the rap game. They were more than just a label, they were a brotherhood. The title track was an instant anthem, a sonic Molotov cocktail that ignited the streets and airwaves. Manny Fresh's signature bounce, a hypnotic blend of funk and raw energy, provided the perfect backdrop. Wayne's youthful energy, his distinctive voice cutting through the mix with an undeniable swagger, made it impossible to ignore. And the accompanying video, a vibrant snapshot of New Orleans street culture, brought the city's unique flavor and energy to the world stage. But the album was far more than just a one-hit wonder. It was a complete body of work. Tracks like Loud Pipes and F Thaw World showcased Wayne's impressive range, his ability to switch between hard-hitting bangers and more introspective cuts. He delivered undeniable street anthems, the kind that resonated with listeners from all walks of life. But he also proved capable of introspective storytelling, offering glimpses into his life and the world around him. "Drop It Like It's Hot" introduced a phrase that would transcend music and become a global phenomenon, a testament to the album's cultural impact. The album was remarkably versatile, a carefully curated collection of sounds and styles that appealed to a broad audience. It had club bangers that ignited dance floors, gritty street tales that painted vivid pictures of life in New Orleans, and moments of genuine vulnerability that revealed the human being behind the rising star. At just 17 years old, Wayne definitively proved he could not only hold his own, but also carry an entire project as a solo artist. "The Block Is Hot" debuted at an impressive number 3 on the Billboard charts, a clear indication of its immediate impact, and it quickly went platinum, solidifying its status as a commercial and critical success. It was a truly massive achievement, especially for a debut album from such a young artist. With this release, Wayne officially cemented his place as a solo star and became the undeniable future of Cash Money Records. The hype surrounding Lil Wayne was undeniably real, a palpable sense of excitement that permeated the entire music industry. And "The Block Is Hot" not only met those expectations, but exceeded them, delivering on its promise and captivating fans worldwide. This album served as the foundation, setting the stage for the incredible career and the countless achievements that would follow. After The Block is Hot, the world knew without a doubt that Lil Wayne was not just a flash in the pan, he was here to stay. The South had found its new champion, a voice that would resonate far beyond the bayous of Louisiana. The music industry had been introduced to a new star, one whose talent and charisma would redefine the landscape of hip-hop. With the release of The Block is Hot, the block was officially, undeniably, and permanently hot. When dropped, the South celebrated. Car stereos from Houston to Atlanta blasted Manny Fresh beats. Wayne was their prodigy, their voice on a national stage. The album became the soundtrack to daily life. Block parties, barbershops, basketball courts. Even outside the South, hip-hop had to pay attention. Critics and fans in New York and LA couldn't deny Wayne's star power. He was nominated for Best New Artist at the Source Awards. A huge moment. Wayne broke regional barriers, inspiring young rappers everywhere. His flow and wordplay raised the bar for lyricism. Fans felt connected, watching him grow up in real time. Became a time capsule of a new era. The relationship between Wayne and his audience was just beginning. Looking Back was more than a debut. It was the foundation of Lil Wayne's legend. Every stage of his career traces back to the potential unleashed here. The album established his work ethic, experimental flows, and emotional depth. It was the blueprint for his evolution. The album also helped solidify the South as a hip-hop powerhouse. Wayne became a champion for New Orleans and the entire region. The album's success opened doors for countless Southern artists. It was the perfect beginning, a time capsule of raw genius. Without, there is no best rapper alive. It all started here. The journey from the best rapper alive was a marathon. Wayne kept working, dropping albums and sharpening his skills. The real transformation came with his legendary mixtape run. He flooded the streets with music, earning his title as the best. Mixtapes like and became classics, was a cultural phenomenon, selling over 1 million in a week. Wayne went from the kid with the squeaky voice to a global superstar. Was the origin story, a glimpse of greatness to come. Wayne kept that promise over and over. The block was hot then, and for Wayne it never cooled down.